are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the College Loop Podcast, a very orange installment of the College Loop Podcast. I don't know what's going on with my saturation, but I'm orange today. But welcome back to the College Loop Podcast, the pregame show edition of the College Loop Podcast. It's the bye week. Auburn football does not have to grace our televisions for a week. We can all take a breather and watch other teams suffer, hopefully. Since there's not much more to talk about for Auburn football, I talked about it in the last episode, talking about what Auburn needs to do to get ready for the bye week. I'm going to talk about some big games that Auburn fans need to look out for this week, especially. I'll talk about that throughout my pick'ems of the week. This will be a quick, easy episode. Leave your pick'ems as we go along with it as well. Starting off with an 11 a.m. kick, the only game I've picked with an 11 a.m. kickoff. South Carolina will travel to Tuscaloosa and take on Alabama, fresh off of a loss to the Vanderbilt Commodores. And I can't say it without smiling. Every single time it comes up, I got to smile about it. South Carolina did not look good last week versus Ole Miss. And, Alabama's defense looked very beatable against Vanderbilt. Just a reminder that Vanderbilt did not have to punt the ball once versus Alabama's defense. I do not think this game will be close in the slightest. Alabama has it's a gift where if they get embarrassed one week, they're going to come back and they're going to slaughter some poor innocent team that just so happens to play them the very next week. That is the South Carolina Gamecocks. I don't think there's very much South Carolina's going to be able to do, especially with that being in Bryant-Denny. Now, I don't think Bryant-Denny is that big of a home field advantage. I think Bama's just been good enough to call it that. But regardless, 11 a.m. kick, weird things could happen. I don't think they will. Alabama wins big over South Carolina. Now, another game that Auburn fans need to pay attention to, now strictly just because Auburn has played one of these teams before and has looked better than that team on field. Oklahoma and Texas will meet in the Cotton Bowl for, as I will forever call it, I'm not going to call it by its stupid new name, the Red River Shootout. This game currently has Texas as a 14.5-point favorite. This game's going to be at 2:30 at the Cotton Bowl. Both teams coming off of a bye week. Texas's last game was against Mississippi State, which kind of looked a little bland for them. Quinn Ewers will be back, I believe, for Texas, and Oklahoma still dealing with a lot of injury issues. This game, I think, is going to go in Texas's favor. Texas is a big favorite, but look out for Oklahoma. Auburn's losses on paper haven't looked bad because going forward, if Oklahoma finds a way to keep it close versus Texas. You look at Arkansas last week, beat Tennessee. Auburn's teams that are beating them aren't doing too bad once they get done with the Tigers. But, yeah, I'm taking Texas in this game. I think they cover that 14.5-point spread. So, yeah, I'm rocking with the Longhorns on that one. Horns up for this game, but always horns down. You can give me a 15-yard penalty if you want. Now, a game that doesn't really matter to the Auburn sphere, but a fun one nonetheless in Los Angeles this weekend. Penn State will make that heralding travel all the way across the entire country. Penn State currently number 4 in the country, a 5-point favorite over the USC Trojans. And this game is a tough one for me to pick. Penn State has had games where they've just looked sluggish. Looking at how they started versus West Virginia, looking at the Illinois game, UCLA last week. But looking at the other side of the ball, USC's been unable to stop the run. Looking at Minnesota, looking at Michigan, where the run game was very prevalent in those games. I think Penn State wins this game. I think they probably cover that spread because 4.5 is pretty easy to cover. Nick Singleton's going to be the headliner of this game for Penn State. So rocking with the Nittany Lions on this game. Now, another game where Auburn fans can watch and look at a team that took them down, see if they can still continuously look good on TV. Cal will travel to Pittsburgh, take on the Pitt Panthers. Cal is currently a 3-point dog, and Pitt's looked pretty good this year. They're 5-0 so far. They've beaten UNC. They've beaten West Virginia, Cincinnati. I think Pitt gets this win. Cal's currently on a 3-game skid right now, losing to Florida State, giving them their first win of the season. And then, of course, kind of getting cheated out of a game versus Miami. I don't know if kinda is kind of the thing there. They definitely just missed a illegal man down field call, 2 of them by that matter. And yeah, I think just overall Cal has looked a little iffy after the Auburn win. But yeah, I'm going to take Pitt in this one. I've been doubting Pitt all year. I'm not going to do it again. Up next, another SEC game. Florida will travel to Neyland Stadium to take on the Tennessee Volunteers. Tennessee coming off of a fresh loss to Hog City and the Arkansas Razorbacks. Tennessee's currently a 16-point favorite. Florida's coming off of a big win over UCF. This game could get tricky, but right now I don't know if I want to touch that spread, but I think Tennessee gets the win here. Coming back off of a loss, they got to prove that they're one of the big dogs in the country, and to do that, you have to take down teams after you lose. You can't embarrass yourself one week and then look sloppy the next week. You got to take care of business. I think Tennessee will do that here. Now, before we get to the remainder of the show, going to play a little ad. And then on the other side of this break, we're going to wrap it up. And, this show, we're in and out in like 15 minutes today. So I'll be right back.
Are you tired of having to rummage through just clothes after clothes after clothes, looking for something to wear? Are you tired of your friends making fun of you for your terrible fashion sense? Well, do we have the shirt for you? Go to thewarreport.com, get your laptop out and do it right now. Go to the shop and get your very own Feelin' Loopy t-shirt as well as your college loop hat, and you can get both of them for only $25 each. Plus shipping and handling, of course. But with that, now back to your regular scheduled program.
Of course, warreport.com. First page of the shop is, of course, the college loop hat. Second page, Feelin' Loopy t-shirt. Most comfortable items you're ever going to wear in your entire life. Halloween's right around the corner. I heard that the looper is trending. So get your very own merch today. Remember what I said? When everyone wears the Feelin' Loopy merch, Auburn starts winning football games. And that'll also transcribe into, basketball season and baseball, softball. Just get the merch. Support. And, of course, if you don't want to get the merch, all good. Other ways to support the show is, of course, liking, subscribing, and, of course, commenting right here on YouTube and every other platform where you can listen to the College Loop. Now, going into the remainder of this short show, just pre-gaming and doing some pickups and talking some ball. Ohio State will travel to Eugene, Oregon to take on the Oregon Ducks, a 2-3 matchup. Now, this is going to be a big game. This is another big game that we've seen within the past 3 weeks. Georgia and Alabama 2 weeks ago. Now you got Ohio State and Oregon. You're getting playoff games in the regular season. That's what the 12-team playoff does for you. Currently, Ohio State is a 3.5-point favorite, which is a major thing to do with the fact that, this is a game inside of Oregon. Now, going forward, this game, I've been so iffy on this game. I've gone back and forth and back and forth. I don't know if either team has been tested enough. I don't think either team has really shown enough of the playbook. Now, currently, I think I'm going with the upset. Right now, and I'm kind of looking at my other pick'ems that I'm doing with my family. I have picked the Oregon Ducks to win this game. I think home field advantage plays a massive key into this game, and I just haven't seen enough of Ohio State to really show me that they are as dominant as they are supposed to be. Of course, they're winning big, but they haven't really played nobody. They beat Iowa 35-7, and Oregon got off to a slow start. But again, I think home field advantage just gives Oregon the win over the Buckeyes here. So yeah, I'm gonna take the Ducks. Now, another big SEC matchup. Number 9, Ole Miss will travel all the way to Tiger Stadium, take on number 13, LSU. LSU's coming off of a bye week, freshly off of beating the ever-loving crap out of South Alabama. Ole Miss took down South Carolina and embarrassed them a little bit. Ole Miss is currently the favorite, and they're a 3.5-point favorite. This game is going to be a tricky one to pick as well, because I don't know what to expect from LSU. Are you going to get the South Carolina matchup that we saw? Or are you going to get, what we saw against USA? Or are you going to get what you saw against USC? You don't know what defense to expect. You don't know what offense to expect. Garrett Nussmeier has looked pretty good started off the season, but he's not passing for a lot of yards. I'm going to take Ole Miss in this one. I thought about going with my hate pick, but every time I try to pick against Ole Miss, they always win, which is annoying. So if I'm trying to use reverse psychology. So if I pick them here, maybe they'll lose. So fingers crossed on that one. But yeah, I'm going to take Ole Miss on that one. Now, if you're an Auburn fan, the biggest game of the week for Auburn fans is the 3-2 Vanderbilt Commodores traveling to Lexington, Kentucky in Kroger Field to take on the 3-2 Kentucky Wildcats. Kentucky's currently a 13.5-point favorite, and this game has major implications for Auburn. Auburn has to play both of these teams in just a couple of weeks. Of course, next we play Missouri, and then right after that, you have Kentucky, and then you have Vanderbilt. You can see a lot of what you're going to expect from Auburn. You have to play Kentucky in Lexington, so you can expect what do they do to Vanderbilt here? Does Vanderbilt struggle? Are they able to continue what they did against Alabama's defense? That's the key to this game. Can Diego Pavia recreate what he did versus Alabama? And Auburn fans are well aware of what he can do and that he can continuously do it throughout the remainder of the season if he would like to. But with this game being in Lexington, and I'm so biased towards home field advantage at times, I think Kentucky gets the win here. I think it's close. I don't think it's 13.5. I think it's very close. Vanderbilt is a team that if you let them stay in the game, they're going to make you suffer for it. So this is a game you got to take notes on. If you're Hugh Freeze and the rest of the Auburn Tigers football team, you got to take notes on this game. You're going to see both these teams very soon. And, I mean, there are other games you can look forward to as well. Missouri plays at UMass. I don't think this game is going to do too much for Missouri, but, I mean, you got to look out for that game, see what Missouri is going to do well, what they are going to fall onto. You might not even see Missouri's whole playbook versus UMass, so I don't know how much that game actually helps you. But, yeah, Vanderbilt could upset Kentucky here, but I'm going to rock with Kentucky for right now. That pick could change no matter what, but right now, I'm thinking Kentucky. Now, last two games, going to go to the Big 12 for these next two. Iowa State, number 11 team in the country, is going to travel to Morgantown, take on the West Virginia Mountaineers. Currently, West Virginia is a 3-point dog, which hurts my feelings so much because I really want West Virginia to be good. But West Virginia took down Oklahoma State last week in a dominating fashion, but Iowa State has looked the part all year long. So I try to pick West Virginia whenever I can, but last few times they've let me down. But every time I pick against West Virginia, they find a way to win. So this one is wishy-washy for me because wherever I go, I'm going to get it wrong because West Virginia hates me. But I'm taking Iowa State in this one. I think that they're just a better football team. They've looked better. They've played better against teams. They've actually dominated against teams that they're supposed to beat. So I'm going to take Iowa State in this game. Lastly, on the docket, Kansas State travels to Boulder, Colorado, take on the Colorado Buffaloes. Kansas State's currently a 4.5-point favorite, and I'm going to take the Wildcats in this one. Colorado has looked a lot better than I expected them to, taking down Baylor and UCF, but Kansas State is one of the best teams in the Big 12, currently standing under Colorado right now because Colorado has played Baylor and UCF. But I think K-State's going to get the win here in in Boulder. So yeah, I'm gonna rock with the K-State Wildcats, rocking with the purple for this week. So that does it for this installment of the College Loop pregame show. Again, I told you 15 minutes in and out. Let me know what your pick'ems are in the comment section below. And of course, check me out on Twitter at your boy the Tank. And of course on Instagram as well at Dylan Larck, DYLENLARCK. And of course, check me right here on the College Loop podcast where you can like, comment, subscribe, again, leave your pick'ems for the week. I think I'm doing pretty well, 41-19 on the year. Had a rough couple of weeks thus far. These past couple of weeks have been really rough on pick'ems. But let me know what you think Auburn should be doing over the bye week. Who does Auburn need to be paying attention to the most going into this week? Now, with all that being said, thanks for tuning in to this time of the College Loop podcast. And as always, War Eagle.